Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of Reddit Podcast Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Karen uses me for food and housing. I've had enough. After that, am I the jerk for blowing up on my husband over chicken Alfredo? And after that, significant other expects me to support them even though they were in the wrong. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen does not get to use someone for food. Kinda hard to use someone for food when they can't even make toast without burning it, Reddit boy. So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Karen uses me for food and housing. I've had enough. When I was in high school, I was friends with a popular girl, Madison. I am not a nice guy, and we were honestly friends. She was out of my league, and I never had any thoughts about a relationship with her. We remained friends when I went away to university, and I was happy for her when she got married. I work for a tech company now. Not one of the FANG companies, but they still provide some really cool stuff for their employees. Our cafeteria is free and open 24 hours a day. We can eat all of our meals there if we want to. They have a nutritionist that makes sure the meals are tasty and healthy. I take advantage of the food on a fairly regular basis, but I still keep food at my apartment to make myself meals I learned from my dad. And I keep Fruit Loops, which the cafeteria does not stock. 5 weeks ago, Madison left her husband and asked if she could stay with me while she figured things out. I agreed since I have a spare room and we're friends. I thought it was a more temporary thing. She has a job, and I think she has access to a joint account with her husband. I thought she would be here for a couple of weeks, then go to her folks or settle her problems with her husband. Instead, she hasn't left my house other than to work. She ate all of my food in the fridge and the pantry. I went grocery shopping once so far, but she ate everything again and didn't even offer to replace it. I asked her when she was going to be moving on, but she says she doesn't know. I asked her for some money for groceries, and she said she hasn't been paid. It's been 5 weeks. I don't think anyone holds back wages that long. So last week, instead of going to Whole Foods, I just started eating all of my meals either at work or at a restaurant on the way home. She asked me when I was going shopping, but I said I was too busy with work. She offered to go shopping for us if I gave her the money. I said I was too busy to cook food at home. She's saying that I'm a jerk for trying to use food to control her or too cheap to help her out. She thinks I'm trying to be with her. I'm already not charging her rent. She's still beautiful, but I'm seeing a side of her that I've never seen before. Not the jerk. I know this is not an advice sub, but you need to get her out of your house. This has the potential to go sideways really badly. Maybe I'm just a pessimist, but it sounds like she thinks you are a better meal ticket, both figuratively and literally, than her husband. I hope I'm wrong. I don't see why you aren't communicating this with her. I have no romantic interest in you. I'm not going to support you financially other than providing a temporary place to stay. It's time for you to find another place to stay. You have until this date to move out. For the food thing, not the jerk. Let me get this straight. So you're not a nice guy, yet you allow this beautiful, popular girl who left her husband to live in your house, eat all your food, exert control over you, and you're not getting anything in return beyond friendship? Ever heard of an orbiter? These are the guys who basically bow down to beautiful girls even though they know they'll never have a chance with them. Quit being an orbiter, bro. This is what happens when young men grow up with a lack of self-confidence. Next thing you know, some hot friend is using you for all kinds of stuff, and you keep handing it over because you think they're your friend. The reason the hotties keep orbiters around is because they know they can use you, whether for resources or as an emotional sponge when dudes like me break their hearts. I've had so many exes that I dumped who end up using their orbiters as a distraction from heartbreak. Next thing you know, she finds another guy who looks like me, over 6 foot, gym rat, blonde hair, blue eyes. Then she ghosts the orbiter until she needs him again. The funny thing is, they will never admit that this is what they do. But my sister has always been honest with me though, and she has straight up told me that her and all of her friends laugh about this stuff all the time because they all know it's true. Hey Reddit boy, how's it feel to be my orbiter? Kinda like getting a bill in the mail that you weren't expecting. Am I the jerk for blowing up on my husband over chicken Alfredo? I, 38 female, am married to my husband, 42 male, and we've been together since our early 20s, and we have 3 kids who are all under the age of 10. He's a mechanic and works anywhere from 60 to 80 hours a week, while I work as a hostess 3 days a week at a restaurant while the kids are at school. I do the majority of the housework and childcare, and I don't mind, as I understand he has a hard job and he works a lot. We get the kids on the bus every morning because he leaves for work about 10 minutes afterward. All I ask of him is to do his laundry, as his clothes are covered in oil and grime and need to go in by themselves, and pick up after himself because the kids destroy the house enough. A couple times a week, he'll help with dinner and clean up at the end of the day as well. Over the last 2 months, he's completely stopped helping. He dumps his clothes on the laundry room floor, his half of the bedroom is a mess, he leaves cans and wrappers all over the living room, and he's even stopped getting the kids up, which has upset them as they love their mornings with Dad. He's also been coming home hours later than usual. I've been letting it slide as he seems very stressed out, but a few days ago, he snapped at me for letting his clothes go unwashed. I reminded him that he always did his own laundry and he hadn't asked me to do it. I'd been doing it, I just hadn't gotten to it yet. He just grumbled and went to go watch TV. Last night, I made chicken Alfredo. We have it about once a week because the kids love it and no one's ever complained. Well, he complained and moaned through the whole dinner. Said that since I'm not taking care of the house, I should at least put a good meal on the table. That I've just been letting the whole family go to heck and I should be ashamed of myself for treating him and his kids like that. He called me a bad wife and a mother in front of our kids. I told the kids to go to their rooms and I snapped. I screamed at him about how much I do for the household, that if it wasn't for me, the place would be trashed and he has no right to treat me like this over chicken Alfredo. We went back and forth for a while before he left and I have no idea where he went and he isn't answering my calls or texts. I feel bad now, as I shouldn't have reacted like that, especially because I know he's just stressed from work, but it all just kind of built up and came out at once. I just want to know if I was wrong for freaking out on him like that. Update. I called my husband for the 100th time because he still hadn't come home and the kids wanted to know where he was, and a woman answered. I didn't recognize her voice and he doesn't have a sister. I asked her to put me on the phone with my husband and she asked who I was. I said I was his wife and she laughed into the phone and told me he was busy. We went back and forth with her laughing at me the whole time before telling me she'll send him home soon and hanging up. It's now the next morning and he's still not home. I really didn't think he was cheating. I had really hoped this was just a rough patch, but it looks like most of you were right. I'm heartbroken and a little in shock and not really sure what to do right now. My brother said I should come stay with him, and I might, or maybe just bring the kids so they don't have to see us fight. I might update again, I might not, but I'm sure you all know where this is heading anyway. Not the jerk, OP. I sincerely hope I'm mistaken, but your husband may be having an affair and setting you up to be the bad wife and mother to justify his behavior. That's what happened to me. OP, I'm sorry. Something is awry and it's not you. Couples counseling now, but keep a watch on your money and protect your kids. Sounds like your husband is checking out. Not the jerk. Significant other expects me to support them even though they were wrong. So I was talking to a few coworkers the other day about how my partner, we'll call them Taylor, can be sometimes difficult with service workers. For background, my coworkers and I are all customer service workers. Anyways, so Taylor and I went out for dinner a few days ago to a restaurant we're regulars at. We go so often that the staff knows our orders, which booth we prefer, and which waitstaff we prefer. That being said, we get a discount and special promotional letters from the restaurant often. Well, prior to going, Taylor brought along an expired $5 coupon. I told them that the restaurant will probably not honor it and not to get upset. They replied, "Oh, they'll accept it." Once the bill came, Taylor presented the coupon and the waiter informed us that the coupon had expired a week ago. Taylor became furious and pulled a Karen and said, "We come here so often. I don't understand why you're being so difficult. I want to speak to a manager." Oh, great. So the manager came over and explained that while she couldn't accept the coupon because we're regulars, that she'd be happy to remove the drink charge, which would have been $10 off. But no, Taylor was adamant that the $5 coupon be honored and that they didn't want the drinks removed because we aren't a charity case. At this point, they were so loud that a lot of people were staring at us. After Taylor said that, I lost it. I said, "Hey, okay, Taylor, stop. I'll pay for the meal at full price. You're being so ridiculous, it's embarrassing." And the look Taylor gave me was a mix of hurt and betrayal. They got up and stormed out of the restaurant, and I apologized to the manager and paid for the bill. The ride back home, I just told them, "Listen, I'm sorry for embarrassing you, but how you acted really wasn't okay. They're just doing their jobs, and you shouldn't give them a hard time because you didn't read the fine print. Taylor didn't say anything during the car ride back home, and that night I decided to sleep in the spare room since they asked for some time to think. Since then, things have been back to normal, and Taylor seems like their happy self again. Anyways, when I told this to my coworkers, they all looked shocked. Wait, you didn't have your partner's back? I told them no, because frankly, I'm tired of this behavior and I won't tolerate it anymore. My coworkers started laughing and said that even if their partners were in the wrong, in the moment they would have supported them to avoid embarrassing them in public, which is basically what I did. They said instead of being a jerk to my partner, I should have supported them at the restaurant, and later I should have told them that they were in the wrong. So, am I the jerk for not supporting my partner, even though they were in the wrong? Not the jerk, but your partner is. Had you supported them, then you would have been a giant jerk too. Not the jerk. Being horrible to service workers is actually a deal breaker for me personally. They're human beings and should be treated as such. Throwing a huge fit so loud that you disturb other customers is embarrassing, and over $5? Ew. I'd have the ick so bad. Sorry, OP. Why would you have her back when she was acting like a total jerk? In a place where y'all are treated very well, no less. Not the jerk. Prepare to lose any discounts and perks when you go with her though. Am I the jerk for insisting my sister-in-law to visit us more when she is a busy resident doctor and she says that she can't? My sister-in-law, married to my brother, is a resident physician who works 60 to 80-hour weeks and frequently works one or both days of the weekend. Her residency is a 7-hour drive from where me, my husband, and our daughter, who's 1.5 years old, live. My brother and I were always very close growing up and even lived in the same apartment and later the same city. We were never more than 20 to 30 minutes away from each other. I got married and had my baby, and he moved 7 hours away to be with his fiancée, now wife, pretty soon after I had my baby. It was devastating for me, as I had always pictured us being close and him being really involved as an uncle. Sister-in-law works 6 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. 6 to 7 days a week, but does have some golden weekends where she has Saturday and Sunday off. She usually has one per month, and then she has 3 weeks of vacation, never over Christmas or New Year's holidays. During those 1 weekend a month that she has completely off, her and my brother either stay at home because she needs to relax or will drive 2 hours to see her family. During the 3 weeks of vacation, which she is only able to take 1 week at a time, they went on a 1 week-long trip to Hawaii, a 1 week-long trip to Cancun with her family, and then 1 week where they just visited her family 2 hours away. They haven't made the trip to visit us more than 1 to 2 times a year, as they say the drive is too hard with the limited time off she has, and she's usually too tired to come anyways. But not too tired for Hawaii or Cancun. They always ask my parents and us to visit them during holidays she works, so at least we can be together and she will join every day after 5. But it's hard for us to travel with a baby. My parents have to split time visiting there and visiting us, and we need them for childcare. I've been asking my brother and sister-in-law to visit us more, even though I know her schedule is busy, and my brother got frustrated with me. When I asked him to visit alone, he said she needs him because the heavy workload has been really mentally straining on her, and quoted how resident physicians have a really high depression rate and basically called me a jerk. I feel it's unfair we have to visit all the time, considering we have a 1-year-old and also both work full-time, and feel they should balance better to visit us rather than just vacation. Am I the jerk for insisting? You're the jerk. You don't have to travel to them if it's too hard for you, but you come across as really judgmental and lacking in compassion for how they choose to spend their limited free time. Asking them to travel 7 hours each way for a visit on the rare weekend she has off is unreasonable. That would be 14 hours of driving for probably not even 24 hours of time together, including sleep hours. You say they do make the trip about twice a year, and that seems reasonable given these circumstances. You're the jerk. Going to Hawaii and staying at a hotel is a relaxing vacation. Going to stay with family who has a kid is not. Medical residency is grueling. She can't balance better. You have the right to wish you spent more time with your brother. You do not have the right to expect it though, nor to tell other people how to spend their vacation time. I cried every single day the last semester of my doctorate, and I'm an art historian. I write about pictures. She's trying to save lives 80 hours a week. You're the jerk. Am I the jerk for refusing to go on vacation with my boyfriend because he invited his friend without telling me? So in a couple of weeks, my boyfriend and I have planned to go to France for a couple of days as a romantic getaway. His own words, not mine. Just to spend some quality time together because we've both been so busy with work. I was excited about the trip and to spend some quality time with my boyfriend, but then he drops the bombshell on me. He invited one of his friends because apparently he's always wanted to see France, so my boyfriend thought he would be kind and asked his friend to come along. So this was a big shock to me, and I told my boyfriend about my concerns. He told me that his friend has already paid for his flight ticket, and he said that he was planning on either changing our hotel room to a room with 2 beds or his friend would sleep on the sofa. He did all of this without even telling me a thing. I told my boyfriend that quite frankly, I don't want his friend to come, and it was supposed to be a romantic getaway. But he said that his friend won't bother us and he'll do his own thing. But I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable with it. We argued for a bit more, with him saying that he paid for most of the trip, so he feels entitled to be able to bring his friend along. In the end, I just got so fed up, and I may be a bit dramatic, but I felt betrayed, so I just told him I wouldn't be coming if his friend was. He said I was being ridiculous and I should go since it's been paid for anyway, and I was being overly dramatic, but this is how I feel. He said I was being manipulative and cruel for making him choose between me and his friend. Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. He can enjoy a romantic getaway with his friend. It sounds like that's what he wants anyway. He doesn't respect you. Keep that in mind going forward. Am I the jerk for extorting my relatives by threatening to go to the police? Around 4 years ago, a relative of mine, Billy, who was 16 back then, took a collector's car of mine without my knowledge for a joyride, and he totaled it. After paying the court fine and reparations for property destruction, Billy's parents did not have the money to pay me back for the car. The car was not truly replaceable, and on the collector's market, it would have easily gone for 7 digits. Even if you count it as just a used car, it would have been high 5 digits in the aftermarket. I had insurance, but to collect, I would have had to file a police report. Billy's parents begged me not to, as it would go on his record and ruin his prospects for college. I agreed on the condition that Billy or his parents start paying me back once Billy reaches his majority, 20 in our country. We agreed on a price in the 6-digit range, but a lot closer to the used car value than the collector's value. It was about the price I paid for the car originally. We drafted an agreement that both of Billy's parents, Billy himself, and their legal witnesses all signed and sealed. 6 months ago, Billy turned 20. I waited a month for them to reach out, but nothing. At month 3, I sent a polite request for payments to start as agreed. Ignored. Sent more messages at months 4 and 5. No response. I messaged them saying if they did not start making good on what is owed, I would file a police report. Statute of limitations for Grand Theft Auto is 30 years in this country, so there's no waiting this out. They finally requested to talk. They tried to say that so much time had gone by that they had forgotten about it, and how we were family, and I didn't need the money, so could I just let it go? I wouldn't agree. I'm not expecting significant monthly payments, but I do expect to see effort to make things right. They then tried to say how Billy had grad school aspirations overseas, and his younger sister was starting college this year, and they need the money. College doesn't cost nearly as much in this country. I asked them when they could see themselves paying. They only want to start payments after their daughter has finished school. I refused. Billy can get a part-time job and start paying. Things will be tight for them, but it's unlikely they won't be able to afford their daughter's tuition. It's possible that it would affect Billy's grad school plans, if these plans are real, which I'm not sure I believe. Since then, they've been bad-mouthing me to that side of the family, saying that I'm extorting money from them by threatening Billy's future. I've been getting a stream of texts from relatives who want to talk with me. I don't see why I should act like a good relative when this is the way that they are. Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. Filed the police report. Billy and his parents have no intention of ever paying you what they owe you. Filed the police report and collect the insurance. Billy is the one who messed up. No reason you should pay for him. Am I the jerk for wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt to my first meeting with my girlfriend's parents? I, 28 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 23 female, for a few months. Things have gone well. We get along well so far, and I really care about her, and I hope things work out with us. Anyway, she recently invited me to come over and have dinner with her parents at their home. She still lives with them for now. We're getting more serious, and they wanted to meet me. If it's relevant, her parents are Indian immigrants to the US, and I am white. So I thought it was a completely casual meeting, and I wore an Iron Maiden t-shirt. I do happen to like the band, but that's not even why I wore it. That's just how I dress, and that shirt just happened to be clean that day. I went and met her parents and thought we had had a good meeting. However, my girlfriend is not happy with me. She feels as if me dressing in a t-shirt rather than a nicer button-up shirt was bad enough, but that wearing a shirt with skulls on it was, in her words, just obnoxious. I honestly just dressed for the meeting the way I usually do, and I didn't even think about it. I think that if she had certain standards, then she should have communicated them to me beforehand. But she thinks that what I did was obviously stupid and inappropriate, and that I should have known better. Is she right, or is she being too critical? You're the jerk, because you're an adult. Meeting someone's parents generally isn't an overly casual thing unless they specify that their parents are casual as well. Surely you own a nicer shirt than an Iron Maiden t-shirt, being an adult and all. You're the jerk. Try to put a bit more thought into your attire when meeting people for the first time, especially a girlfriend's parents. She didn't need to communicate her standards. You need to address your standards. Don't blame her for your lack of them. It's all on you. I'm amazed at the people acting like meeting the parents is a one-way street here and that he's expected to be 100% deferential. If there was an expectation, it should have been communicated to him. And in the absence of that, it's perfectly valid for an adult to dress however they feel comfortable. They're all adults. They don't get to dictate how other adults dress, nor do they get to dictate who she dates. And if they do, well, I'd like to get that out in the open as soon as possible personally. You did nothing wrong, OP. And the people insinuating that what you did was childish are the ones ironically being most childish. Adults don't whine about what other adults they know are wearing. Better to set the expectation that you don't dress up in formal wear in casual settings. Not the jerk. People judging you because of your perfectly fine clothes are very shallow. Not the jerk. Can you even imagine if the boyfriend was mad at the girlfriend for what she wore to meet his parents? Another fine example of Reddit hypocrisy going crazy on the guy because you're a dude. Am I the jerk for trashing the gift my girlfriend got me? So me, 28 male, and my girlfriend, 30 female, have been together for 8 years, and we've been living together for 4 years. Girlfriend has always been the artsy type and always has some personal project going on, but she has the tendency to get lost in her own world. We celebrated my birthday last weekend, and she ended up getting me a pencil sharpener. I don't use pencils, and the sharpener in question didn't even fit your typical number 2. It was purely for colored pencils. I also don't color. When she asked me if I liked it, I just quietly walked outside our home and tossed it in the trash. She was understandably upset and called me a jerk for doing that, claiming that I could have at least tried it. Here's the thing. She's been doing things like this ever since we started living together. She's been gifting me things that she likes and ultimately ends up using. For example, last year, she got me a packet of Sailor Moon stickers. I don't even watch Sailor Moon, and she ended up using them all. She also gifted me a jewelry box one time. I don't wear jewelry, so guess who's been using it all this time? First world problems at its finest. So it's been a few days, and she's still upset with me and has even got both of our parents to go off on me for trashing the gift. She even admitted she knew I would hate it and was planning on using it after I calmed down in a few days. A detail that she did share with others, but I'm still getting name-called. Am I really the jerk? Edit. Nearly every comment says we need to talk about this. The thing is, we have more than once. She admitted she does this because she wants something, but decides to gift it to me to say, I tried. I asked if I gave her a wish list, would that help? And she said that she wouldn't even look at it. She, on the other hand, does have a wish list, which I do get her stuff from, and some of that stuff is actually expensive. Not the jerk. Seriously, she's buying you gifts for herself. She makes a habit of this. Have you turned it around on her yet? For the next gift you give her, get her something you really want, and she won't want. When she gets upset about that, explain that you thought that was how your relationship worked, since she buys things she wants when you get a gift. Sister-in-law and niece destroyed my plants, so I banned them from my house. Years ago, I really got into houseplants and started to collect them. Over the years, I've had up to 70, but whittled my collection down to about 35, just the ones I really love. My niece, Jenny, who's 14, has developed an interest in plants and will come over and we will talk about them, and she helps with propagation and repotting. I had to go out of town for 2 weeks to take care of some work stuff, so I asked sister-in-law and Jenny if they could plant sit for me. I told Jenny I would pay, but also give her a few cuttings as a trade-off. They agreed, and when they came over, I gave a tour and explained the care needed, and also showed off a few prized plants. Sister-in-law asked how much a few of them ran me, and I did share. This didn't seem weird because the family knows, and I've gotten some plants as gifts. Well, I returned from my trip and was horrified. They watered and gave the right amount of light, but they also decided to give a lot of my plants haircuts. Big ones. My prized Cebu blue mother plant was destroyed. The climbing one too. My mandula had been done the same. My golden that I trained up the stairwell. My string of pearls, hearts, and ruby necklace, all destroyed. My silver stripe. The worst was that my pink princess Philo had been reduced to 2 leaves, and my albo is down to 3. I don't even think they got nodes necessarily. These plants are expensive and prized. I basically broke down, and when they came to meet me to give me back my key, I screamed and screamed at them. Jenny started crying, saying I said I would give her cuttings, so she thought it was okay. I screamed at her to go home and get me what she stole from me and bring it back now, because she knew I didn't mean she could destroy my plants. Sister-in-law got between us and said, "What's done is done." I said, "No way, you're returning everything." Jenny said, "Mom already sold most of them on Marketplace." I lost it and just screamed and screamed at them until Jenny was crying and her mom got in my face and told me I was having a tantrum over plants. I told her to get out of my house and don't ever come anywhere near me or my home again. I called my brother, sister-in-law's husband, and he was shocked and said that they told him I said it was all okay. He brought me the stuff she hadn't sold yet and apologized. I told him I never ever want either of them in the same room as me again. They're horrible, awful, irredeemable people, and I hope they both get karma for what they've done. He told me he gets that I'm upset, but I'm taking it too far, and that family means not holding grudges. I told him to leave, and I cried for the rest of the day. I'm posting because I need to know if my edict is over the top and if I'm overreacting. So, am I the jerk for telling them that they are no longer welcome in my home and not even wanting them in the same room? Not the jerk. This wasn't a misunderstanding. Your sister-in-law knew exactly what she was doing and making a profit of it. I'm surprised your brother didn't realize something was amiss. OP. He said that he noticed they were carrying a lot back home after coming over, but my niece said Auntie said it was okay, over and over. I just wanted a drill, not a police report. Alright, so a little backstory. This happened about 4 months ago. I had just finished an 11-hour shift and needed to stop at Home Depot to get a new drill. I just wanted to run in, buy it, run out, and get home. Of course, it wasn't that easy. I had just gotten to the drills and was looking over the options in my price range when I hear it. Excuse me, where are the wax toilet rings? There are a few other people in the area, so I ignore it, assuming there's an employee nearby. It's important to add, as I work in traffic control and just got off the job site, I'm wearing high-visibility pants, a high-visibility vest shirt that says company name Traffic Control on the back, a radio with a shoulder mic, and I have a traffic control technician certification card displayed on my vest. The employees here wear orange aprons and normal clothes. Hello? Do you want to do your job or just stand there looking at tools? At this point, I glanced around to see what was going on. I assumed some customer was berating an employee, which happens a lot at this location, unfortunately. I was surprised, however, to see some 30-year-old guy in a white button-down shirt and tie looking at me like I'm stupid. "Can I help you?" I said, still not sure of the situation, but that seemed to tick him off. "Yes, you. Can you tell me where the darn wax rings are?" he shouted. At this point, it clicked in my head what was going on. "I'm sorry, sir," I started saying. I don't want to hear anything but an aisle number," he yelled, interrupting me and drawing the attention of a few other shoppers. "Honestly, how did you get this job being so stupid?" I tried again. "I don't work," he cuts me off again. "Oh my god, why is this so hard? Where are the wax rings?" Now, I don't know why, but I got an idea in my head that I thought would be amusing, and at the very least might get him away from me. I pointed behind him at a random aisle where wax rings almost certainly weren't in and said, "It's right there." "Finally! How stupid can you be?" he yelled, huffing and storming off. I thought that was the end of it. I figured he'd realize they're not in that aisle and then find an actual employee to ask. Nope. He came right back and started yelling that I don't even know how to do my job, and that his best friend is the district manager and he'll have my job. During his yelling, I noticed a few shoppers staring at us. I just raised my hand, pointed to the same aisle as before, and said, "They're right there. Look, can't you see them? How stupid can you be?" I retorted, taking glee and throwing the last part back at him. But he wasn't amused. He smacked my hand down and shoved me, yelling something about stupid punk teenagers. That was a bad idea. I'm not a skilled fighter or super strong or anything, but I know when I can take someone. This guy clearly didn't. I bopped him once in the nose and he fell back, falling on the ground hard. "Someone call the police! This guy just attacked me!" he yelled as the crowd nearby grew larger and larger. I was worried. Obviously, it was in self-defense, but I kept thinking that I should have shoved him back and not bopped him. I was worried that if he had fallen so hard that he had been hurt, I could get in trouble. A manager came over and asked what was going on. He started screaming that, "This employee attacked me when I tried to ask for simple directions. Look what he did." By this point, you can see that he's really hurt. "Who did?" the manager said, puzzled and concerned, looking around at the actual employees who were still on their way to the commotion. "Oh my God, are you all this stupid? Him!" he screamed, pointing at me. He doesn't work here, sir," the manager said. The manager got on the radio for more employees, ignoring the man's insistence that I do, and tells me to follow him. He takes me to the security office and has me wait for the police. Luckily, multiple customers and the cameras saw my side of the story, and since the police went to the injured person first to render aid, they also interviewed witnesses over there before coming to me. When they came in, I gave my side of the story. The police say it contradicts his version of events and that it matches the witness statements. They said the guy was yelling that he wanted me arrested and locked up. That's when the manager pulled up the footage, which showed him hit my hand and shove me, and I only bopped him after that and one time. Also in my favor, I was facing him with the drill shelf behind me when he shoved me, so I was somewhat cornered. They then asked if I wanted to press charges, and since he wanted to get me arrested, I decided, yeah, lock him up. They arrested him, and a few months later I found out he pled guilty and avoided jail time, but now he has an assault charge on his record. I honestly wouldn't have pressed charges if it wasn't for the fact that he wanted to press charges against me. I hope he learned his lesson and doesn't treat anyone that way again, even if they're a Home Depot employee.
Huge shout out to our newest official channel members, Kimberly and Jennifer. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It really means the world to Reddit Boy and I. Support our channel by joining as a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video.
Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.